All right, guys. This week I'm going to go over your assignment. You're going to be working more on your own with it, but I do want to go over some things you guys have to do. This week's assignment is this. Do I have the? Yep, this is the finished product, which I'll put it, should be in there. You need to download everything and you need to save it as Mountain, your name, and it's assignment 5. So make sure you put it in your Google Classroom when you're done as a PSD file layers so I can see that you did it right. So I do want to go over about how to save selection. So the first one is we're going to open the mountain image. And it wants you to select, because we're going to put a lot of stuff, as you see in the example, in behind this mountain. And so we're going to select the mountain itself. It does want you to use adjustment layers, which we all should be used to adjustment layers by now, so I'm not going to go through that. I'm going to go through it real fast, but remember, adjustment layer is in your layers panel, which is right here. And it actually wants you to adjust the color by using, so you're getting the yellow cast. So it wants you to use a color balance adjustment layer. So again, just to remind you guys, because it kind of has a yellow tint to everything, color balance, and then a dialog box will pop up and you can make it more blue to get rid of more of that yellow. Now keep in mind, adjustment layer is going to affect the whole, so if there's anything underneath this adjustment layer, it's going to affect as well. So I always like to right click on it and create clipping mask, and then you get this little arrow that points right at the background. So then you know that it's working just for that picture. The next thing they're having you do is select just the background and save that selection. So we're going to use that selection several times to put different objects in there. So make sure you're on the background again, and we're going to select the background. Now I'm using the wand tool. You can use the click select, however you like to use. My tolerance is way down, so it's going to take a second to get all of it, what I want selected, because it's reading all that color. A couple more clicks, I should have everything I need. You can always bump that tolerance up, or use your quick select tool. So you see all those dancing ants, you kind of want everything selected. So you want it snug to the mountainside. Now we want to save the selection because we're going to use this selection several times. So we're going to right click on it, maybe here, select, save selection, and we can call it sky as a new channel, hit OK. So now this selection is going to be in your channels panel right here. It's the sky selection. So that's going to be Windows, and you can pull up channels up right there and find the selection. So that's when it says save the selection. That's what you need to do. And then it's going to have you kind of take the selection and do a gradient on a new layer. So to select the selection, you can command click right on that and see how it's selected again. Go up to your layers panel, you're going to hit a new layer, and then do the gradient. So I already did the gradient. So if you don't remember, here's the gradient in Photoshop, and then you come up here and you can click it. Like any other gradient, you can double click on these to get the RGB color it talks about, and just by clicking somewhere on this timeline, you can add another box or delete a box by hitting delete. So you're just going to double click, add the RGB colors it's talking about, hit OK. Same here, or if you need to add one, you're just going to click. So you get the gradient it's talking about because it lays out the RGB right here for the blue, dark blue, white, and pink. So you just put those RGB colors in there, and then with it being on a new layer, you just have your gradient tool, and you're going to click and drag to kind of make it match what the example showed. And then we're going to make it a clipping mask. Hit delete. we make it a clipping mask. Command delete will deselect it. Hang on, that's not here. Command delete. Because now we can fade it into, see how there's kind of a line here and stuff like that. So we click the clipping mask, the properties will come up like a clipping mask, and then you can negatively shift the edge and feather it so that it kind of blends into the mountain a little bit more. So that's kind of why, you make a clipping mask and you can make that blend. So that's how you save that selection. And this next one, we're going to paste the star field into the selection of the sky area. So we're going back and doing this. I think it actually, let's see. So you're going to scale proportion to match the highlight of the canvas at a blending mode. So again, you're going to select that selection again. You're going to go to your layers panel, hit a new layer, command select that, and then you're going to open the star field. You can zoom out, get your square marquee tool up here, select the sky, hit Command C to copy. Then you can go back to where it's selected again. And hit paste. And it didn't go in there. Let's see if we can drag it. So we put it in there first. So we're going to copy. So then it's already selected like that. You can actually create a clipping path with that. And then adjust the clipping path. To make it work, and then you're going to do a blend mode. So just to remind you of the blend modes, the blend modes are in the layers, and you want to make the star field somewhat transparent, so showing the sky gradient and making the stars shine, but not overly bright. So that's our goal. So if you remind of our blend modes are all right here, so you can kind of start going through them. It kind of shows what they are. So we want to see the stars and the gradient through so that the screen's pretty good. Color dodge. So I think it's going to be one of these. So you kind of pick which one you like. And then it's looking more like the actual thing. So, so to remind you again, with the save selection, you hit Command, select, Command, and click right in the center right there. You're going to your layers, and it's selected. You're going to hit new layers and make sure you paste everything in there that needs to be in there, and then you can hit a clipping path and it will clip it to that mountain, and no erasing. You don't have to erase anything to make it fit. So that's what you're doing with the star field. You're going to create a new layer and add a pink faint transparency gradient over from the top left corner to the foreground of the snow. The pink should be very faint. So you're doing like a pink gradient across there. So you guys are going to continue to going through that. Again, I'm not going to do step by step. So you should be able to know how to save your selection, use a gradient, do layer blend modes, layer masking, which we've done a lot with the Japanese sign. You're going to paint One thing it talks about is, you're gonna add the $ back in, the champagne you're gonna layer mask. Up here it talks about how you're going to paintbrush with color burn at 35% smoothly, darken the gold, shadow the globe. So this one on the globe, I know that can be kind of confusing, so I'm going to show you that part real quick. You're going to get your globe, you're going to open it. So it's like this, and you're actually going to cut it. So if you go back to the example again, you're going to cut it out and do a clipping path. And once you do that, it tells you to do a brush of, let me look at my notes again. You do a layer, blah, 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 blah. So you're gonna cut the layer, show all the landmass, and you're gonna hide the blue areas. I use eyedropper to suck the blue from the upper left sky. Use a paintbrush with color burn. So what is it telling you to do is to eyedrop this color, hit B for your brush tool, you're gonna hit color burn, and you're gonna take your opacity down to 35-ish. Make sure your hardness is all the way down. And you can bump up your, keep in mind this will be cut, but this is what they're having you do. Kind of burn that color a little bit more. And then leave the lighten areas alone. We don't want to darken them. We just want the color areas to darken. So that's how you would do that with color burn and the opacity down. After you cut that and drag it here, the next thing it's telling you to do is the champagne bottle you're going to cut like this and make sure it flows through the world. So some layering things going on there. And then you're stamping the bottle to make it fill the rest of the way because it's the bottle's not filled all the way. The Mountain Goat, you're going to use layer masking. Again, you're going to cut it out. You're going to use levels and curves to adjust so those are adjustment layers again, like I showed you. You're going to create the missing parts of the goat's leg and then burn the shadow areas of the goat to increase the shadow strength. So you're doing that. You open the goat real quick. So you're going to have to just you're going to have to cut the goat and you're going to have to get rid of the trees and then stamp in the leg. And to do a color burn, there's actually an option in here that's called color burn tool, which darkens areas, which is pretty handy. So you're just gonna, once you have them cut, you're gonna use the burn tool to gradually go over it. You can see how it darkens. So it's the color burn tool. On the pin, I'm gonna show you how to do a accurate mask or accurate shadow. It's once you do a cast shadow of the actual pin that goes on the globe, so it kind of has a slight one, like it is. So the best way to do a cast shadow is to have whatever you want to shadow on selected. You're going to right click and you're going to duplicate the layer. Make sure it's saved. You're going to put it behind it. You're going to hit Command T and you're going to warp it. Make sure you have two of them. Not quite. So it's locked together. So we're going to unlock it. So linked. There we go. Okay. Because those two layers are linked, so it's like you're doing that. So you're pretty much going to skew it at the angle that you wanted of the cast shadow. Like so. Again, you're going to hit Command click. Actually, hit Command click on the clipping path, and it will select that path completely. You get your gradient. If you want to find your basics, you really want to find the grays. And as you can see, it usually goes from dark to light in the shadow, so you want to make sure it goes in that direction. So you fill it in with the gradient, and then it's on its own separate layer. So you just want to make sure it's going in the right direction. And then you can put a blend mode on it because usually it fades. So something like so. I'm gonna hit Command, select that again, get my gradient again, because we want it to kind of fade a little bit more. So then you can get your brush tool again and kind of fade the white and fade that a little bit more. So that's kind of the proper way. Do a shadow. You could also add an opacity to it so it kind of fades a little bit more. But there's your drop shadow. The proper way to do it. Okay, so that was the eyedropper. The pin, so you could make a shadow, a casting shadow, a dollar that goes in there, same thing, you're going to get that selection again. The champagne bottle, you can use a layer mask, and have it going through that, and the mountain goat, you're going to create snow where the mountain goat is touching. Here's an option for these. You can actually get online and find snow prints to use, so that's going to be on you. And then you're going to have to put the words up here like this. I said Times New Roman to get the effect. Don't forget, if you double click on the layer, you can get your drop shadow and then your bevel like it's asking you to. So just follow those instructions to do that layer. So I think I have reviewed everything that you need to know for this lesson on how to do the stuff. So please refer back to this video if you forget how to do something. But again, it's a lot like other Adobe programs. So just look to me if you have any questions.